Hello fellow travelers. Here we are on the ship, the Coeur d'Alene, and we are going down the Coeur d'Alene Lake all the way to the St. Joe River. So we're going to spend the next few hours doing the St. Joe River cruise. So come with us as we explore the St. Joe River on the beautiful ship, the Coeur d'Alene. As our ship pulls away from the dock, let me tell you a few facts about Lake Coeur d'Alene and our cruise down the St. Joe River. Our ship will depart from downtown Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Coeur d'Alene is located on the north end of Lake Coeur d'Alene. From Coeur d'Alene, the ship will sail south and sail the length of the lake all the way to the St. Joe River. We'll make a journey up the river. Hello! Today I'm traveling with a few friends, but only one of them, Molly, is brave enough to be on camera. So everybody, that was Molly that we just saw, and we'll see more of her in the video. And the other friends, they're in the background. National Geographic magazine has called Lake Coeur d'Alene one of the most beautiful in the world, and after this trip, I definitely agree. Lake Coeur d'Alene is 25 miles long, it's 1 to 3 miles wide, and has over 109 miles of shoreline. One of the questions people always ask about this lake is how deep is it? And the answer is the average depth is 120 feet and the maximum depth is 220 feet. So whatever you do, don't drop anything overboard or you won't be able to retrieve it because it's too deep to get. Lake Coeur d'Alene is named after the Coeur d'Alene Indian tribe, which still lives in the area today. The name Coeur d'Alene came from French fur traders that were here years and years ago. The name was first recorded by Lewis and Clark in their expedition. Coeur d'Alene is a French word, which means heart of the owl. Well, so far we're enjoying the trip. If you're ever in the Coeur d'Alene, Idaho area, I highly recommend this. As our ship sails south, we'll pass many lake homes and we'll also pass a lot of summer camps. So Lake Coeur d'Alene is famous for many summer camps. And here we are approaching the bridge for the Trail of the Coeur d'Alenes. This is a bike trail today, but originally this was built as a railroad. In the early days, the railroad needed to get across Lake Coeur d'Alene, and they found the narrowest part where they built this bridge. So on the eastern side of the lake, there's mining and there's lots of timber, and the railroad had to get there. So they used this railroad for many years, and then eventually the line was abandoned. When it was abandoned, they decided to keep the line in case they ever go back and use it again. But what they did is they raised the bridge a few feet so boats can pass under it. You can see here that the original design was a swing bridge. Once our ship clears the bridge, we'll enter the channels of the St. Joe River, and we'll follow these channels until we get into the heart of the river. Alright, and I think this is the prettiest part of the St. Joe River, so let's just go ahead and take a look as we sail down the river. Let's take a moment and just enjoy the beauty of the river, and then I'll tell you a little bit about it. The St. Joe River is also known as the shadowy St. Joe River. The St. Joe River is 140 miles long, and with a mouth elevation of 2,129 feet, it's claimed to be the highest navigable river in the world. That's up for debate, but for us, we'll say that's true. The St. Joe River begins in the Bitterroot Mountains. From the Bitterroot Mountains, it flows downhill into Coeur d'Alene Lake. Coeur d'Alene Lake drains into the Spokane River, and the Spokane River connects with the Columbia River, which drains into the Pacific Ocean. The St. Joe River at one time had a big grove of cedar trees. Of course, those trees were logged, and of course the railroad needed to be there for the logging. So if you can believe it, at one time there was a huge rail yard along the banks of the St. Joe River. So the railroad would pick up the logs that had been floated down the river, and they'd load them onto their flat cars, and then haul those off to the lumber yard where they'd be cut up into different pieces of timber. Notice that no one is sitting out on the deck. It's probably about 95-100 degrees out, and we've got a nice cool breeze, but that's still a little warm. So most of the people are inside watching from the air-conditioned windows. Fortunately, all of the railroad and the lumber industry have moved on and left this river alone, so now it's just beauty. But as you're riding down the river, you may be able to spot an old railroad car that's right next to the river, and you'll know that that's where it came from. So that's just a leftover from when the lumber industry and the railroad were here. If we continue on this river, we'll be able to go to the town of St. Mary's, Idaho, which is navigable. So you can go all the way from St. Mary's, Idaho, all the way to Coeur d'Alene. Pretty amazing and pretty beautiful. But for our journey today, we're not going to go all the way to St. Mary's. Earlier in the day, as we were coming down from Coeur d'Alene, they served us lunch. So what we do is every Sunday they have a chicken dinner. So we had fried chicken, baked beans, coleslaw, watermelon, and then it's really hot out, so we have lots of lemonade. And the lemonade keeps getting refilled because people are going in there and getting more and more lemonade because they're very thirsty, and it just hits the spot. In this part of the country, we're experiencing a heat wave, and I think today is probably day 20 of being over 90 degrees. That's very hot for this part of the country, because normally it doesn't get above like 80. That's like considered hot, so 90 is like really hot. So we had a few days where it was over 105, and that was just too much. So we're kind of worried about the forests because they're not used to that type of heat, and when that dries out, that's not a good thing. The day before our cruise, we did have a lot of wildfire smoke, so we were lucky that today when we did the trip, we did not have all that wildfire smoke. So we can see blue skies instead of the brown skies of wildfire smoke. Good grief, unfortunately it's that season. We're nearing that part of the trip where it's time to turn around and go back. So if we continue up the St. Joe River, we're going to start to encounter river homes, and then we'll come to the town of St. Mary's. And the boat can actually go all the way to St. Mary's, but for our journey today, we're not going to go much further than this. So pretty soon, we'll be turning around. Let's just go ahead and look at the views as we sail down the river. The company that does the St. Joe River cruise also has other cruises around Lake Coeur d'Alene, so they all start from Lake Coeur d'Alene. So there's one that's an hour and a half, and it leaves from Coeur d'Alene. It takes you out to the lake, and it comes back to Coeur d'Alene. Another fun one is you go from Coeur d'Alene down the Spokane River to the city of Post Falls, and then you turn around and come back. And then of course there's the St. Joe River cruise. So lots of different options on the lake. And you may have started to notice in our video that we are doing the turnaround here. So from here, what we're going to do is we're going to turn around, go back up the St. Joe River to Lake Coeur d'Alene, and then back to the city of Coeur d'Alene. So that's going to be another 3-hour trip just to get from here up to Coeur d'Alene. I will tell you that since it's so hot today, on our way back to Coeur d'Alene, my friends and I went and sat inside and drank lemonade and just looked out the window because we were just too hot to be outside. but it was definitely worth it.
Go.
All right, and that's our cruise down the St. Joe River. So I want to say thank you for watching. Be sure to like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.